Hello and welcome back to the workshop. I know it's been a little while. I've been out of town due to the content of this video, but unfortunately I also got sick on the trip, so I've been trying to recover as best I can to give you this recap and get back to our normal workshop activities. But I am well enough today and wanted to give you a recap of CES 2025, where xTool was kind enough to invite me out to enjoy the event and see what they've got going on. So this is going to be a bit of a recap. There was a lot to see, a lot to do. Of course, we're going to cover a lot of what was going on with xTool, but I'll give you a little bit of an insight to what the other things were that we saw. So if that sounds interesting to you, want to find out more, stay tuned. I'm going to jump right into it. All right, so as I mentioned, xTool did sponsor this trip. They did help cover some of the expenses of getting out there and being able to attend the event. So want to first and foremost thank xTool for this opportunity. It's been kind of a bucket list item for me as kind of a lifelong geek, getting out to the Consumer Electronics Symposium, being able to see a lot of brand new technology firsthand. So much technology in one spot was kind of a bucket list item for me. And so it was really cool to be able to get out there and experience this event in person. So xTool, thanks for helping me out and getting me out there to not only be able to hang out with xTool, get to learn a little bit more about them, see some of the things that they're going to be doing this year, but also to just experience that in general. The trip was great. It took a little bit getting out there. We had there was a lot of weather going on during that week, but the odd thing that kept me grounded for a couple hours before taking off was not the snowstorms going across the U.S., but the sheer cold. The fuel in our airplane that gelled. They had to wait a couple hours, get that warmed up, but we eventually got on the road, more in the air, and had an uneventful flight, landed in Las Vegas, and I was able to meet up with my good friend David from the Clack Shack, and we got our baggage, got to the hotel, got situated, and took that night to get a little acquainted. We needed to get some dinner, went down the strip, and met up with Justin from Bittner Built, and just had kind of a good welcome to Las Vegas. And this Minnesota boy was happy to be in slightly warmer weather. I think it was a high of 60s, but for me, coming from Minnesota cold winters, that was a nice improvement. But of course, we were there for CES, and the next morning came, and we got up and got going. Hopped on the buses to make our way down to the area. Now, CES is huge. It takes up multiple venues, but there are two primary spots. One is at the Venetian, the other is at the Las Vegas Convention Center. There was no chance we were going to be able to see it all, but David and I made a good effort to try to at least get a good feeling of what all was there. Then, of course, we met up with xTool in the afternoon after they had really got it settled into their booth. So it's hard to talk about xTool's booth without talking about their history. They have been around since about 2020 and then brought out their first device with that D1 original and the M1 in 2021. And then moving on to 2022, we started seeing the D1 Pro as well as the very popular portable F1 laser. 2023, we started seeing them jump into the CO2 market with the original P2. And they started looking at more safety oriented devices and brought out the all-enclosed S1. And then, of course, they all surprised us with that screen printer setup towards the end of the year, kind of breaking out from the laser world, getting into more general making. And then, of course, this past year, 2024, we saw revisions to the P2 with the P2S, again, hitting on a lot of safety enhancements and performance. Of course, then also more with the AP2 and safety devices, and then the F1 Ultra stepping up into that true 20-watt fiber, and then the M1 Ultra, again, breaking out of that traditional laser, getting into a multi-function device, and really branching out into all kinds of making, which is something we'll talk about in just a little bit. So, of course, in the xTool booth, they had quite a few of these machines on hand to demonstrate for people. Front and center, they did, of course, have their M1 Ultra, that multi-function device we've taken a look at on this channel, and they had that on full display, demonstrating it for many people throughout the weekend. xTool did a great job showcasing the F1 Ultra. They were using it to provide some swag for people. They got to pick from their various material blanks, be it a wooden keychain, a leather bookmark or keychain, some of the metal jewelry type pieces they had on hand, really showcasing its flexibility in how it could customize items. And instead of just getting a random pamphlet or whatnot, people were able to walk away from the xTool booth with a customized piece made on site at the show. And what better way to showcase the product's flexibility than on-site engraving in real time, really quickly cranking those things out for a multitude of people that kept stopping by the booth throughout the days. And perhaps the star of the show in my mind, though, was this AP2 filter. They had this hooked up to every single one of their machines that they were running there. And as I noticed, or maybe didn't notice, was that these things were running fairly constantly. They were running leather, they were running metal, they were running wood, and even some acrylic on the P2. And no one was getting smoked out of the booth. No one was, really noticing a smell. And as we had walked around to other areas that were maybe running some lasers and such, they had the more traditional smoke filters, and you could tell that machine was running and it was burning stuff. So it really goes to show you the AP2 performing well in that area. 140,000 people passing through this event, and really nice to see this performing well in that. We were there for the first 2 days. I didn't even notice that the filters were getting clogged up at all. So really props on them for bringing this out, bringing that, and to me was kind of the unsung hero of that event. So really cool to see. Of course, we're going to have more content on this in the future as I continue my testing with it, but this was a good testament to the ability of the AP2 to keep that going in a portable kind of on-site environment. Now, xTool didn't just show off their devices. They did win a couple awards with it. They did pick up a 2025 Twice Picks award, I believe, for the M1 Ultra, as well as a Best of Kickstarter award. So always really cool to see the manufacturers we're working with be recognized for their accomplishments and that get this some recognition. So one of the exciting things about this event with xTool there is that they did have Jason, their CEO, on hand. He was meeting with people, and Jason's a very down-to-earth guy. He was, if you just walked up to the booth, started talking with him, you wouldn't necessarily know that he was the CEO unless you know who he was. Very humble guy, very interested in getting feedback from people and hearing about it. And so David and I did get a chance to kind of have a little bit of a one-on-one conversation with him and just talk about some of our thoughts over the past few years of using xTool equipment and supporting users and getting feedback from our audience as well. And he was very receptive to hearing our thoughts. It was refreshing to see him not only agree that while xTool products are good, they definitely can be improved. And I think we're going to see that in the year to come in some of the advancements. And so some of the key themes from our conversation with him and others with xTool is they're really prioritizing safety. And you're probably seeing that in a lot of the lasers and other equipment they're coming out with. The S1 and the F1 Ultra definitely having more of a fully enclosed environment and really worrying about making sure that they have good tools for capturing the exhaust and venting that outside or also in through the AP2 filters. So great to see that. I think you're going to continue to see more of that as you come, and they're really not leaving it up to the user, but really pushing safety with a lot of their products. And a lot of the feedback they've been getting over the years, of course, has been in their support, being a company based over in China and having a lot of their workforce over there. Support does become a little bit of a time barrier. And so they've been working hard, and they've already acquired some space. They've been tooling up their team here to build up local US-based support here out of California. And so that is going to be great for North America to have a little more on our time zone. And you're also probably going to see more events from that, and xTool attending more events and supporting more events around the continent. So Justin really pushed on the idea that, he isn't just about lasers. He actually originally created a company called MakeBlock, and it was a STEM robotics to get kids involved in making and coding. And that company is alive and well and healthy. And so bringing some of that ethos over into xTool it's not just going to be about lasers. It's going to be about tools that allow all sorts of creating and making. And so while there's still going to be plenty of fun with lasers and plenty of fun and new devices there, we are going to start seeing additional things such as the screen printer and the M1 Ultra, where you saw them kind of branch out into other technologies. So I don't have any real details about what that might be, but one kind of hint we got at was maybe expect to see a little more color in some of the production coming forward. So excited to see what that might be. They did hint at 6 to 7 new releases this year. Now, 1 or 2 of those may be iterations of previous devices. They were still being a little tight-lipped on it. Didn't want to let the cat out of the bag on all of them yet. But of course, as we find out about those devices and tools and what they might be, we're going to be sharing them here on this channel as well as on our live stream Sunday night with the Clack Shack. So as we hear, I'm definitely going to share that with you. Now, being that this is a week after CES, one of those products has launched already, and that is the F1 Lite. You know that David and I over at the Clack Shack have really been enjoying our F1s as on-site engraving devices. Now, the original one does combine a 2-watt IR laser with a 10-watt blue diode laser and a Galvo-style machine. Well, the F1 Lite just removes that 2-watt IR, makes it a simple 10-watt blue diode, but in that Galvo style, still has all the other features that the F1 has, but drops the price by about a third, brings it down around $800 and makes it a little more affordable to have a on-site engraving machine that can still do quite a bit of what the F1 can do. You might be missing out on some of the options and features with some of the metals and a few of the plastics. But if you're looking for something to be able to take your business on the road, take your engraving on the road, that's a great way to do it. So I'll have links down below for that one if you want to check out. But right off the bat, that's one of them that they've gotten out of the can. So it was great spending a lot of time with xTool. We did also spend a number of hours just answering customers' questions. Their booth was inundated with people, and David and I wanted to help out. And so the team there asked us, hey, can you help answer some of these more technical questions along the way? Can you help set up some of these engravings? And so we were happy to roll up our sleeves, jump in, and help out the team there, answering a lot of people's questions. We, of course, got to meet a few of the viewers. Now, CES is not necessarily open to the public. You kind of have to have a connection to the industry to get plugged in. So we didn't quite expect to see too many, but we did run into a few of you, and we always enjoy that. So it was great to those that came up and said, hey, always nice to connect with the people that we usually are just talking to a camera on. But we spent some time there, but also did want to get out to see a little more of CES. So we did spend a little more time going around to, of course, there were a lot of 3D printing places and other laser places, CNC machines. We wanted to hit up those and kind of see what was going on. Some very cool things from very, consumer grade on up to some machines that we can only dream of in our shops. But some very cool technology coming out in those spaces. But of course, there's all sorts of tech from home health and computing and whatnot. David, of course, very interested in some of the other robots. He spent a lot of time talking with some of the vendors for outdoor lawn. He's got a lot of land down there, so he wanted to see what he could come up with for a robot to help keep care of his lawn. And I, of course, was able to find a couple of the mini split heat pump places because definitely looking at making my shop more comfortable year round is something that I'm always interested in. So made some connections there, saw some crazy cool tech. There was all sorts of, seems to be a mini event going on around where people were making announcements about products and such. More than you could ever see, even if you attended the full week and just spent time walking around. The minute you stopped to talk with someone, you were sucked in to them for a while, but it was very cool to see all the technology around CES. And of course, the other cool benefit to this event was we weren't the only creators that xTool brought out or that happened to be in the area. We did get to make connections and meet up with a number of other creators. Even got to hit up and have some dinner with them a couple of times. And one of the things I just want to thank my other creators out there about is we all had that sense of community over competition. Everybody was there to share and support and, just give good ideas on how we could all do a little bit better and how we could work together to bring better content to our viewers. And just that idea of community over competition was great to see. I see it a lot of times in the makerspace. It's great to see it here amongst other YouTubers and influencers and whatever we call ourselves. So just a few that I'd love to call out, and I am going to put links down to them below because they were there, and they're also going to have some cool content from this event. We have Bittner Built, we have Kim and Garrett Makes, Chad's Custom Creations, Laser Engraving 911, EPB Man Tech Reviews, and of course my friend the Clack Shack. It was great hanging out with you all. It was great making those deeper connections, and I hope we can all help build up this community and make it even stronger. So that is it. That is my recap from CES 2025. Once again, I want to thank xTool for supporting me and helping bring me out to the event. It was great to meet you all there. It was great to be able to help support you and learn a little bit more. And of course, meeting Jason was very exciting as well. I hope to do more events like these in the future, and hopefully next time I won't get sick and can be a little more timely and get some more content out for you. But hopefully you all enjoyed this. Hopefully it gave you a little snippet of what the event was, and hopefully I'll be recovering soon and getting back to making and creating, and we'll have more for you in the future. But in the meantime, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you are, if you're new here, consider subscribing. Normally do a lot of product reviews and tutorials and projects, but this was kind of a different one-off of getting to go to this event. And so hopefully you enjoyed it, but most importantly, I hope you can get out into your workshop and make something too. We'll catch you next time.